Before we begin, drop a comment telling us what city you're tuning in from, and stick around until the end to rate this story from 0 to 10. The neon sign outside Jimmy's bar painted the wet sidewalk in bleeding shades of pink and blue.
Time to shake things up.
Inside, bodies pressed together, the bass so heavy Madison felt it in her chest like a second heartbeat. She stared at her empty mojito glass, the ice melting into nothing. Another round? The bartender gestured at her glass, sleeve tattoos rippling. Madison shook her head. I'm good. Any more and I'll start making decisions I'll regret. Too late for that, babe. Riley dropped onto the stool beside her, already 4 drinks deep. You quit your job without a backup plan. We're drowning in regret territory. Madison groaned. Don't remind me. I just couldn't take another day of Mark breathing down my neck. Mark was a nightmare, Riley agreed, signaling for tequila shots. But you've been unemployed for exactly 6 hours. Job hunting can wait. I have an interview Monday morning. Important one. Which is exactly why you need to get trashed tonight. Clean slate. Riley clinked her shot glass against Madison's. To freedom from terrible bosses. Madison hesitated only a second before throwing back the shot. It burned. To freedom. And to never working for another arrogant, entitled CEO as long as I live. Riley's eyes lit up. Oh man. Madison needs a wardrobe change. Wait here. 5 minutes later, Riley returned with a crumpled paper bag. Inside was a black t-shirt with bold white letters, CEOs are trash. You didn't. Go put it on. Consider it a ceremonial shedding of corporate oppression. In the bathroom that reeked of cheap air freshener and spilled beer, Madison peeled off her silk blouse and pulled on the ridiculous shirt. It was too tight, worn soft. She caught her reflection, dark hair escaping its bun, mascara smudged, confrontational slogan stretched across her chest. Screw it, she muttered. I'm unemployed. I can wear whatever I want. The music got louder. The lights brighter. Madison danced badly, sang off-key, and for the first time in months, she felt free. Around 11, the heat became suffocating. She pushed toward the back exit, desperate for air. The alley was cool, quiet. She'd barely taken 3 steps when she collided with someone hard. Strong hands caught her elbows, steadying her. Whoa, careful. The voice was deep, commanding. Madison looked up into the face of possibly the most attractive man she'd ever seen. Tall, dark hair perfectly styled even at 11 p.m., sharp jaw, high cheekbones. Eyes so intensely blue they seemed to glow. He wore an expensive charcoal suit, tie loosened, top button undone. Sorry, Madison managed. I wasn't watching where I was going. Clearly. His gaze dropped to her shirt. One eyebrow arched. CEOs are trash. That's quite a statement. Heat flooded her cheeks, but the tequila made her bold. It's not a statement. It's a fact. She pulled away, crossing her arms. Let me guess. You're about to defend corporate overlords everywhere. His lips twitched. Actually, I was going to ask if you had personal experience or if this is purely philosophical. Oh, it's extremely personal. Madison leaned against the brick wall. I just quit a job working for the worst CEO imaginable. Arrogant, condescending, treated employees like disposable resources. So yeah, in my experience, CEOs are trash. He studied her with unsettling intensity. Then he smiled, and it transformed his entire face. Sounds like you worked for the wrong CEO. Madison snorted. Is there a right kind? Some of us try not to be trash. He extended his hand. Nathan Cross. She shook it, his palm warm and surprisingly calloused. Madison Carter. And yes, I'm slightly drunk. And no, I don't usually assault strangers in alleyways while wearing offensive t-shirts. Nathan's smile widened. Good to know this is a special occasion. What's the celebration? Freedom. Sweet, terrifying, financially irresponsible freedom. Quitting without another job lined up. Brave or reckless? Both. Definitely both. She laughed. But I have an interview Monday. Maybe I'll be employed again by Tuesday. Optimistic. Drunk. There's a difference. He laughed, real and warm. Fair enough. What kind of job? Another corporate position. Marketing director for some tech company. Cross something. She waved dismissively. Can't remember the full name right now. Something flickered across Nathan's face. Cross Industries? Yes. That's it. You know them? I'm familiar. His tone went carefully neutral. They're supposed to be decent. Fair to employees. Let's hope. Madison pushed off the wall. Anyway, I should get back. Nice meeting you, Nathan Cross. Wait. He pulled out a business card. In case you need a reference. Or want to complain about CEOs some more. Madison took it, squinting in the poor light. She could make out his name, nothing else. You're very trusting. Call it intuition. His eyes held hers. Something tells me you're more competent than you're letting on. Dangerously competent. I can make a pivot table like nobody's business. Another laugh. High praise indeed. Good luck with your interview, Madison Carter. Back inside, Riley pounced. Who was that? Just some guy. Nathan. We ran into each other. You assaulted a man while wearing that shirt? It was an accident. He gave me his card. Riley's eyes went wide. Let me see. Madison fished it out. Riley studied it, her expression shifting from excitement to panic. Madison. What? Riley showed her the card, pointing. Sure enough, crisp embossed lettering, Nathan Cross, Chief Executive Officer. Oh my God. Madison buried her face in her hands. I told the CEO of the company I'm interviewing with that CEOs are trash. While wearing a shirt that says CEOs are trash. You didn't know when you were talking to him, right? I told him the company name. He knew. He knew the whole time and didn't say anything. Riley grabbed her shoulders. Okay. New plan. Monday, you call in sick. Food poisoning. Family emergency. We tell them you died. I can't just not show up. I need this job. Rent is due in 2 weeks. Then you show up and pretend tonight never happened. Madison gestured at herself. He's going to remember the drunk woman in the offensive shirt who called him trash. Worst case, he laughs you out of the building. Best case, he has a sense of humor. What's the realistic scenario? Riley grimaced. You're probably screwed. Alone in her apartment, Madison collapsed onto the couch. The city glowed through her window, thousands of lights in buildings full of people who probably hadn't just torpedoed their own careers. She pulled out Nathan's card again, studying it in the ambient light. Expensive card stock. Simple, elegant font. Professional. Confident. Like him. She remembered the warmth of his hands. The almost smile. The way his eyes had tracked her face like he was memorizing it. CEOs are trash, she muttered to the empty room. Except maybe this one. Monday morning arrived too fast, bringing with it the interview that would either save her or destroy her. And Madison had no idea which. Monday morning hit like a freight train. Madison stood outside Cross Tech Industries, a gleaming tower of steel and glass that scraped the Manhattan sky. Her navy suit felt like armor. Her resume felt like a death warrant. The lobby was all marble and minimalist art. A receptionist with a perfect smile directed her to the 32nd floor. The elevator ride lasted an eternity. "Ms. Carter?" A woman in her 50s with sharp eyes and sharper heels approached. "I'm Helen, Mr. Cross's executive assistant. He's ready for you." Madison's heart hammered. He's conducting the interview personally. He insists on meeting all potential department heads. Helen's expression was unreadable. "This way." The office was floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the city. Sleek desk. Leather chairs. And there, standing with his back to her, phone pressed to his ear, was Nathan Cross. "I don't care what the board thinks, Michael. Make it happen." He turned, saw her, and something flickered in those blue eyes. "I have to go." He ended the call. Silence stretched between them like razor wire. "Ms. Carter." His voice was different now. Professional. Cool. "Please, sit." Madison sat, spine straight, hands folded. "Mr. Cross. Before we begin, should address the elephant in the room." Nathan leaned back in his chair, fingers steepled. Friday night. Jimmy's bar. A certain shirt. Heat flooded her face. "Mr. Cross, I want to apologize. I had no idea who you were, and I was drinking, and I said things that were completely unprofessional. You said CEOs are trash." "Yes. Was I included in that assessment?" Madison met his gaze. "I didn't know you then." "And now?" She swallowed. "Now I'm sitting in your office, hoping you'll give me a chance despite my terrible first impression." Nathan was quiet for a long moment. Then he smiled. Not the warm smile from Friday. Something sharper. More calculating. "I appreciate honesty, Ms. Carter. Your resume is impressive. 3 years at Mitchell Corp., 2 promotions, and you managed their entire rebrand campaign. Why did you leave?" "My direct supervisor created a hostile work environment. I filed complaints. Nothing changed. So I left. Without another position secured. I couldn't stay. Not for one more day." Nathan leaned forward. "What would you do differently at Cross Tech?" For the next hour, they talked strategy, vision, creative direction. Madison forgot to be nervous. Forgot about the shirt, the tequila, the mortification. This was what she was good at. This was where she belonged. When Helen knocked to signal time was up, Madison blinked, startled. Nathan stood. Extended his hand. "Welcome to Cross Tech, Ms. Carter. You start Wednesday." Madison stood slowly. "I got the job." "You're brilliant, passionate, and you don't let fear stop you from speaking truth. Those are qualities I value." His grip was firm. "Besides, anyone brave enough to wear that shirt and then show up for this interview deserves a chance." Relief flooded through her. "Thank you. You won't regret this." "I hope not." Something in his tone made her pause. "Helen will handle your paperwork. I'll see you Wednesday." Madison was halfway to the elevator when Helen called her back. "Ms. Carter? One more thing." Helen handed her a folder. "Mr. Cross has one condition. He wants you to lead the rebranding for our new subsidiary. It launches in 6 months. The project is confidential. High stakes. If you succeed, you'll be promoted to senior director within a year." Madison's hands trembled as she took the folder. "And if I fail?" Helen's smile was thin. "Mr. Cross doesn't accept failure." That night, Madison spread the folder's contents across her kitchen table. The subsidiary was called Meridian, a luxury tech lifestyle brand targeting ultra-wealthy clients. The budget was enormous. The timeline was brutal. Her phone buzzed. Unknown number. Congratulations on your first day. Don't celebrate too hard. You have work tomorrow. N. Madison stared at the message. How did he have her personal number? She hadn't given it to anyone except HR. She typed back, "How did you get this number?" The response came immediately, "I'm the CEO. I have access to everything." Her stomach twisted. That's slightly concerning. Only slightly? I must be losing my touch. Get some rest, Madison. Wednesday is going to be intense. She set the phone down, pulse racing. This was her boss. This was professional. The warmth in his messages, the way he'd looked at her during the interview, none of it meant anything. But Wednesday arrived, and everything changed. Nathan met her personally in the lobby. "I'm giving you a tour myself. I want you to understand the culture here." As they walked through departments, Madison noticed something odd. Employees watched Nathan with respect, yes, but also something else. Fear? No. Wariness. Like they were waiting for something to go wrong. In the break room, a young woman spilled coffee on her shirt. She went pale, stammering apologies. Nathan simply smiled. "Accidents happen, Jenna. Go change. Take your time." But Madison saw Jenna's hands shake as she hurried away. "Your employees seem nervous around you," Madison said carefully as they entered her new office. Nathan's expression hardened. "They're cautious. There's a difference." "Why?" "Because I demand excellence. Because I don't tolerate mediocrity or disloyalty." He moved closer. "Because 6 months ago, someone leaked confidential information to our biggest competitor. We lost millions. I fired 12 people before I found the culprit." Madison's breath caught. "That's why this project is so secretive." "Yes. And that's why I need someone I can trust." His eyes locked on hers. "Can I trust you, Madison?" "Yes. Even after you called me trash?" "Especially after that." "I'm honest. Sometimes brutally so. But I'm loyal to people who deserve it." Nathan studied her for a long moment. Then he reached past her, so close she could smell his cologne, cedar and something darker, and pulled a file from her desk. "Prove it," he said. "This is everything on Meridian. You have 6 months. Don't disappoint me." He left before she could respond. Madison opened the file. Inside was a note in handwriting she recognized from his business card. "I'm giving you a chance because I see something in you. Something fierce and unbreakable. Don't make me regret it. But I should warn you, working closely with me changes people. Usually not for the better. You still have time to walk away. Nathan." Madison's hands shook as she read the words again. This wasn't just a job offer. This was a warning. Her phone buzzed. "Riley, how's day 1?" Madison stared at Nathan's note, at the impossible deadline, at the career opportunity that could either make her or destroy her. She typed back, "I think I just made a deal with the devil." But she didn't walk away. She couldn't. And somewhere in the back of her mind, a voice whispered that Nathan Cross knew exactly what he was doing when he hired her. The question was, why? 3 months in, and Madison had barely slept. The Meridian launch consumed her. 18-hour days. Midnight strategy sessions. Presentations that Nathan tore apart with surgical precision before demanding she rebuild them better, sharper, perfect. But something else was happening too. Something neither of them acknowledged. The late nights when it was just them in his office, city lights sprawling below. The way his hand would brush her shoulder when he leaned over to examine her work. The coffee he brought her at 2 a.m., made exactly how she liked it, even though she'd never told him. "You're killing yourself over this," Nathan said one night, loosening his tie as he studied her latest mock-ups. Madison rubbed her eyes. "You said you don't accept failure. I also don't accept dead employees. Go home, Madison. Not until you approve these." He turned to face her fully. "Why are you so determined to prove yourself?" "Because everyone thinks I slept my way into this job." The words came out sharper than she'd intended. "Because they see how you look at me and they assume." "How do I look at you?" The question hung between them like a lit fuse. Madison's heart hammered. "Like you're trying to figure out if I'm worth the risk." Nathan moved closer. "You are worth the risk. That's the problem." "What's that supposed to mean?" "It means you're brilliant and driven and you challenge me in ways no one else dares. It means I hired you for your talent, but somewhere along the way, it became about more than that." His voice dropped. "It means I'm your boss, and I can't stop thinking about you, and that's a line I swore I'd never cross." Madison couldn't breathe. "Nathan." His phone rang. He ignored it. "Tell me I'm wrong," he said. "Tell me you don't feel this too." She couldn't. Because she did feel it. The magnetic pull. The way her pulse jumped when he entered a room. The dangerous thrill of his praise, his attention, his rare smiles that felt like winning the lottery. "This is a terrible idea," she whispered. "The worst." He reached up, traced her jaw with his thumb. "But I've made my fortune taking terrible risks." He kissed her. Soft at first, then deeper, desperate. Madison kissed him back, fingers tangling in his hair, 3 months of tension finally breaking like a dam. When they pulled apart, both breathing hard, reality crashed back. "We can't," Madison said. "The company policy. I own the company. I make the policies. Your employees already think I'm here because. They'll think whatever they want." Nathan cupped her face. "But you and I will know the truth. You earned this position. The project is nearly perfect. In 3 months, you'll prove every single one of them wrong." Madison wanted to believe him. God, she wanted to. "What happens when this falls apart?" she asked. "Why are you so certain it will?" "Because I've never had anything good that didn't eventually break." Something in Nathan's expression softened. "Neither have I. Maybe we're both due for a change." They kept it secret. Stolen moments in empty offices. Text messages that anyone reading would find perfectly professional but that made Madison's skin burn. Dinners that officially were strategy sessions but lasted until midnight, conversations drifting from business to philosophy to the scars they both carried. Nathan told her about his father, who'd built cross-tech from nothing and died believing his son wasn't ruthless enough to keep it. Madison told him about her mother, who'd worked 3 jobs to put her through college and died 6 months before graduation, never seeing her daughter succeed. "Is that why you're so driven?" Nathan asked one night, his head in her lap as they sat on his office couch at 3 a.m., "To make her proud? To prove her sacrifice meant something?" He laced his fingers through hers. "It did. You're extraordinary, Madison Carter." But the morning of the Meridian preview launch, everything shattered. Madison arrived early to set up. The conference room was already full. Nathan stood at the head of the table, face carved from stone. "Thank you all for coming," he said. "We have a situation." He pulled up a presentation on the screen. Madison's presentation. The one she'd been perfecting for months. The confidential strategy, the target demographics, the pricing structures. Everything. And it was on a competitor's website, published an hour ago. "Someone leaked our entire campaign," Nathan said, voice ice. "Someone in this room betrayed cross-tech." Madison's blood turned cold. She looked around. 20 faces stared back. Helen. The creative team. The marketing analysts. And Riley. Her best friend sat 3 seats down, face pale, eyes fixed on the table. No. No, no, no. Riley? Madison's voice cracked. What are you doing here? Riley finally looked up. Tears streaked her face. Madison, I'm so sorry. Nathan's gaze swung to Madison. You know her? She's my best friend. But I didn't know she worked here. She never told me. She doesn't work here, Nathan cut in. She works for Titanium Corporation. Our biggest competitor. And she's been feeding them information for 6 months. The room spun. Riley, what did you do? Madison whispered. Riley stood, chair scraping. They offered me $200,000. Do you know what that kind of money means to someone like me? To someone who grew up with nothing? So did I. Madison's voice rose. We both came from nothing, and I didn't betray the people who trusted me. You don't understand, Riley's voice broke. They threatened me. Said if I didn't help them, they'd expose things from my past. Things that would destroy me. Then you should have told me. I would have helped you. How? By running to your boyfriend? Riley's laugh was bitter. Yes, Madison, everyone knows. Everyone sees how he looks at you. How you disappear into his office for hours. You think you earned this position, but we all know the truth. Madison recoiled like she'd been slapped. Nathan's voice could have cut steel. Security, escort Ms. Chen out of the building. Our legal team will be in touch. As guards approached Riley, she locked eyes with Madison. I am sorry. For what it's worth, I never meant to hurt you specifically. But you landed on your feet. You always do. Get out, Madison said. Get out and never contact me again. Riley left. The room emptied slowly, everyone avoiding Madison's eyes. Except Nathan. Did you know? He asked when they were alone. Madison's head snapped up. Are you seriously asking me that? I have to. My company just lost millions because someone leaked confidential information, and your best friend is the culprit. So yes, Madison, I'm asking. I had no idea Riley even worked for Titanium. I haven't spoken to her in weeks because I've been here, killing myself on this project, trying to prove I deserve to be here. Her voice broke. And now everyone thinks I helped her. Nathan was quiet. When he finally spoke, his voice was careful. I don't think you helped her. But you had to ask. I'm the CEO. I have to ask. And I'm the idiot who trusted the wrong person. Madison grabbed her laptop. The launch is ruined. 3 months of work, gone. I'll have my resignation on your desk by end of day. Madison, wait. Don't. Just don't. She stopped at the door, couldn't help looking back. You were right. Working closely with you did change me. Usually not for the better, remember? Congratulations, Nathan. You called it. She walked out, and this time, he didn't stop her. That night, alone in her apartment, Madison's phone buzzed with a message from an unknown number. You want revenge on Riley? I can help. I know all her secrets. All her lies. Everything that would destroy her career, her life, everything she sold you out for. Interested? A friend. Madison stared at the message, finger hovering over the screen. Riley had betrayed her. Destroyed her reputation. Ruined the biggest opportunity of her career. She deserved to suffer. But as Madison sat in the dark, surrounded by the pieces of her shattered life, she thought about Nathan's warning. Working closely with me changes people. Usually not for the better. She thought about the person she was becoming. Someone who stayed up until 3 a.m. not just to succeed but to prove people wrong. Someone who'd fallen for her boss despite knowing it was dangerous. Someone who now held the power to destroy her former best friend with a single reply. Madison looked at the message again. And made a choice that would change everything. Madison deleted the message. She didn't want revenge. She wanted the truth. 3 days. That's how long it took her to dig through Riley's digital footprint, cross-reference dates, follow the breadcrumbs. What she found made her sick. Riley hadn't been blackmailed. She'd volunteered. The money, the threats, all lies to justify betrayal. But there was something else. Something worse. The leak hadn't just been about Meridian. Riley had been feeding Titanium Corp information about Cross-Tech's merger negotiations, their expansion plans, their vulnerabilities. For 18 months. Long before Madison had even applied for the job. And the person coordinating it all? Someone inside Cross-Tech. Someone high up. Madison stared at the name on her screen, hands shaking. Helen. Nathan's executive assistant for 12 years. She had to tell him. Madison found Nathan in his office at midnight, tie discarded, shirt sleeves rolled up, surrounded by damage control documents. Madison. He looked up, surprise and something else flickering across his face. I didn't think you'd come back. I didn't resign. You said you would. I changed my mind. She set her laptop on his desk. Because I found something you need to see. For 20 minutes, she walked him through everything. The timeline. The encrypted emails. The offshore account payments. Helen's digital fingerprints all over the operation. Nathan's face remained expressionless, but she saw his jaw tighten, knuckles white around his pen. Helen has been with me since I took over the company, he said finally. She knew my father. She's family. She's a traitor. She's also the only person who knows about my mother's medical condition, my sister's rehab stays, every vulnerability this company and this family have. Nathan looked at Madison. If I fire her, she'll burn everything to the ground. Then you make a deal. Quiet retirement. Generous severance. NDAs so thick she can't breathe without violating them. That rewards her betrayal. That protects your family. Madison leaned forward. Nathan, I know you want justice. But sometimes survival matters more. He was quiet for a long moment. When did you become so pragmatic? When I realized that being right doesn't always mean winning. Nathan stood, moved to the window. The city sprawled below, lights like fallen stars. I'm going to confront her tomorrow, he said. Offer exactly what you suggested. But she'll want insurance. Proof that I won't come after her later. What kind of proof? Nathan turned. In the dim light, he looked younger. Vulnerable. She'll want leverage. Something that would hurt me if it came out. He paused. She's going to ask about us. Madison's heart stopped. What about us? Corporate policy prohibits relationships between executives and subordinates. If Helen reveals our relationship, the board could force me to step down. Or fire you. Probably both. There's no proof. We've been careful. Nathan pulled out his phone. Scrolled through messages. Showed her security camera screenshots timestamped from weeks ago. Her and Nathan in his office at 2 a.m. The angle made it clear they were kissing. Helen has access to all security footage, Nathan said quietly. She's been documenting everything. Madison sank into a chair. So we're both ruined. Not necessarily. Nathan knelt in front of her. If you resign tomorrow. Cite personal reasons. I give you a glowing recommendation, help you land somewhere better. Helen has no reason to release the footage. Your reputation stays intact. And you stay CEO. Yes. Madison looked at him. Really looked at him. At the man who'd taken a chance on her despite the shirt, the drunken insults, the terrible first impression. Who'd pushed her to be better, sharper, more fearless than she'd ever been. Who'd made her feel seen in a way no one else ever had. You're asking me to walk away, she said. I'm asking you to save yourself. What about Meridian? The launch is in 2 weeks. Everything I've built. I'll assign someone else. Give you full credit in the final presentation. When it succeeds, and it will succeed because your work is extraordinary, your name will be attached to the biggest product launch Cross-Tech has ever done. Nathan's voice was rough. You'll have every company in the city fighting to hire you. And if I say no? If I refuse to resign? Then Helen releases the footage. The board fires us both. Your career is destroyed before it really starts, and I lose the company my father died building. He reached up, traced her cheekbone with his thumb. I can survive being fired. I have money, connections, options. But you, Madison, you're just starting. You have so much potential, so much ahead of you. I won't let my mistakes ruin that. Tears burned Madison's eyes. This isn't fair. No. It's not. I don't want to leave. I know. He rested his forehead against hers. But this is the only way you win. What about what I want? What if I don't care about winning? What if I just want? She couldn't finish. Because wanting him, wanting this, would cost everything. Say it, Nathan whispered. Tell me what you want. You. I want you. But I want my career too. I want to prove I earned my place here. I want, her voice broke. I want everything, and I can't have it. Nathan pulled her close. She felt his heart pounding against hers. If things were different, he said. If I wasn't your boss, if Helen wasn't blackmailing us, if the world wasn't what it is, I'd ask you to stay. I'd risk everything for this. For you. But you can't. No. I can't. They sat like that for a long time. Two people who'd found something rare and true in the worst possible circumstances. Finally, Madison pulled away. I'll resign tomorrow, she said. But I'm finishing Meridian. The launch happens in 2 weeks, and I'm seeing it through. After that, I'm gone. Madison. That's the deal. Take it or I walk out right now and let Helen release everything. Nathan studied her. Then he nodded. 2 weeks. 2 weeks. The next day, Madison submitted her resignation. Cited exciting opportunities elsewhere. The office buzzed with speculation. Some people looked relieved. Others confused. A few seemed almost sad to see her go. Helen smiled when she heard. A cold, satisfied smile that made Madison's skin crawl. Smart choice, Helen said. I always knew you were a survivor. Madison bit back everything she wanted to say. Helen would get what she deserved. Just not from her. The next 2 weeks were torture. Madison and Nathan kept their distance during the day. Professional. Cordial. Like they were strangers. But at night, after everyone left, they'd meet in his office. Not to talk about work. Not to plan or strategize. Just to be together while they still could. I'm going to miss this, Nathan said one night, fingers tangled in her hair. Miss you challenging every decision I make. Miss the way you look at me like I'm not a CEO, just a person. I'm going to miss feeling like I belong somewhere, Madison said. Like I finally found where I'm supposed to be. You do belong here. Not anymore. Launch day arrived. The Meridian presentation was flawless. The board loved it. Orders poured in. By 3 p.m., they'd exceeded projected first-quarter sales. Madison stood in the back of the conference room, watching Nathan field congratulations. He caught her eye once. Just once. And in that look, she saw everything they couldn't say. That night, she packed up her office. Nathan appeared in the doorway. "You did it. Meridian is a success. You're a success. We did it." "No. This was all you." He held out an envelope. "Your recommendation letter. And something else." Inside was a check. The amount made Madison's breath catch. "Nathan, this is too much. It's your bonus. You earned every cent." He moved closer. "I also made some calls. 3 companies want to interview you. All for senior director positions. All with better pay than I could offer here." Madison looked at the check. At the letter. At the man who'd given her everything and asked for nothing but this impossible sacrifice. "Thank you," she whispered. "For believing in me. For pushing me. For all of it." Madison, Nathan stopped. Swallowed hard. If circumstances were different. If we'd met in another life, another way. "I know." She reached up, kissed him one last time. Soft. Bittersweet. Final. "I know." She walked out of Cross Tech Industries for the last time. But as Madison stood on the sidewalk, city lights reflecting in puddles from an earlier rain, her phone buzzed. "Helen, congratulations on your resignation. One more thing. Nathan didn't tell you everything. Ask him why he really hired you. Ask him about the file marked MC investigation. Might change how you remember these last 3 months." Madison stared at the message. Then she turned back toward the building. Some truths, no matter how painful, demanded to be known. Madison found Nathan in his office, jacket off, drink in hand, staring at the city he'd helped build. "What's the MC investigation file?" she asked. Nathan's shoulders tensed. He didn't turn around. "You should go, Madison. Helen sent me a message. Said you didn't tell me everything. Said that file would change how I see the last 3 months." She moved closer. "So I'm asking. What is it?" Silence stretched between them like a chasm. Finally, Nathan set down his glass. Opened his desk drawer. Pulled out a thick folder. Madison Carter. Investigation report. Her hands shook as she opened it. Inside were pages. Dozens of them. Background checks. Financial records. Her college transcripts. Performance reviews from Mitchell Corporation interviews with her former co-workers. Photos of her. Leaving her apartment. At the coffee shop. With Riley. All dated from before she'd applied to Cross Tech. "You investigated me," Madison said slowly. "Before I even knew this job existed." "Yes." "Why?" Nathan finally looked at her. "Because 3 months before you walked into that bar, Riley approached my company with an offer. She said she had a friend. Brilliant, driven, recently fired from Mitchell Corp for refusing to compromise her ethics. Someone who'd be perfect for a senior position at Cross Tech." Madison's stomach dropped. "Riley sent my resume. She said you were looking for opportunities. That you'd be interested in the marketing director position. She positioned herself as a headhunter doing you a favor." Nathan's voice was hollow. "I ran a background check. Standard procedure. But something felt off. So I dug deeper. You found out she worked for Titanium. Eventually. But not before she'd already planted the seeds. Your interview was scheduled. Riley had convinced me you were the perfect candidate." He paused. "Then I saw you at the bar. Madison's mind raced. You already knew who I was. When I crashed into you. You knew. Yes. The business card. The questions about my interview. All of it was a test. I needed to know if you were in on it. If Riley had recruited you to infiltrate my company. Nathan's expression was raw. But then you stood there, drunk and honest and wearing that ridiculous shirt, telling me CEOs are trash like you had nothing to lose. You weren't performing. You weren't pretending. You were just you. So you hired me anyway. I hired you because you were exactly what I needed. Someone who wouldn't be intimidated. Who'd challenge me. Who'd proven they'd walk away from a toxic situation rather than compromise their integrity. He moved closer. But I also hired you because I wanted to keep you close. To watch you. To make sure Riley hadn't corrupted you. Madison felt like the floor had dropped out beneath her. That's why you gave me Meridian. It wasn't an opportunity. It was a test. At first. Yes. And the late nights? The conversations? The way you looked at me like I mattered? That was real. Nathan's voice broke. Madison, all of that was real. Somewhere between investigating you and working with you and falling for you, it stopped being about Riley's scheme and started being about you. About us. When were you going to tell me? I don't know. Maybe never. Maybe I thought if you never knew, it wouldn't matter. That the person you'd become, the relationship we'd built, would be enough. Madison backed away. You used me. From the beginning, I was part of some elaborate game to catch Riley. That's not fair. Fair? Her laugh was sharp. You want to talk about fair? You investigated me. Manipulated me into taking this job. Let me fall for you, knowing the entire foundation was a lie. I fell for you too, Nathan said desperately. That wasn't manipulation. That wasn't part of any plan. How would I know? How would I ever know what's real and what's strategy? Tears burned her eyes. God, Riley was right. I didn't earn this position. I was just a pawn in your chess game. That's not true. Your work, your talent, everything you accomplished here was yours. I gave you an opportunity, but you seized it. You made Meridian succeed. An opportunity you only gave me to prove I wasn't a corporate spy. Yes. At first. But it became so much more than that. Nathan grabbed her shoulders. Madison, please. I know I should have told you. I know I destroyed any trust between us. But what we had, what we built together, that was real. Madison pulled away. I resigned. I walked away from everything because you said it was the only way to save my career. But it was never about Helen's blackmail, was it? It was about making sure I left before I found out the truth. No. Helen's threat is real. The footage is real. If she releases it, then let her. Madison's voice was steady now. Cold. Because I'm done protecting you. I'm done being your pawn. She turned to leave. Wait. Nathan's voice stopped her. There's one more thing in that file. Last page. Against her better judgment, Madison flipped to the final page. It was a document. Legal. Complex. But the summary was clear. Nathan had set up a trust fund. In her name. Enough money to cover 5 years of expenses. Dated from the day she'd started at Cross Tech. What is this? Insurance, Nathan said quietly. In case Riley's plan succeeded. In case you got caught in the crossfire and lost everything. I wanted to make sure you'd be okay. No matter what happened. Madison stared at the numbers. You did this before you even knew me. I did it because I knew what Riley was capable of. And I didn't want an innocent person destroyed because I was too paranoid to see the bigger picture. She looked at him. Really looked at him. At the man who'd investigated her, manipulated her, but also protected her. Who'd pushed her to be extraordinary while making sure she'd survive if everything fell apart. I don't know if you're a good person or a terrible one, Madison said. Neither do I anymore. I don't know if what we had was real or if I was just fooling myself. It was real. Nathan's voice was raw. Every moment. Every conversation. Every time I looked at you and thought you were the most extraordinary person I'd ever met. That was real. Madison wiped her eyes. But it's not enough, is it? Real isn't enough when it's built on lies. No. It's not. She walked to the door. Stopped. Looked back one last time. For what it's worth, she said. I don't think you're trash. I think you're broken. Just like me. Just like everyone who's ever been hurt and responded by building walls so high no one can climb them. Madison. But being broken doesn't give you the right to break other people. She smiled sadly. Goodbye, Nathan. I hope you find whatever you're looking for. I hope it's worth it. She left. This time, she didn't look back. 6 months later, Madison sat in her new corner office, Director of Marketing at Helix Technologies. The Meridian campaign had made her famous. Every company in the industry wanted her. She'd chosen Helix because they were everything cross-tech wasn't. Transparent. Collaborative. Human. Her phone buzzed. Unknown number. Congratulations on the Helix promotion. You deserved it. I fired Helen last week. Had enough evidence to prosecute, but I offered her the same deal I offered you. Quiet retirement. She took it. Riley was prosecuted. Corporate espionage. She'll spend the next 3 years in minimum security. I wanted you to know. Not because I expect anything. But because you deserve to know how it ended. You were right. I am broken. And I did break you. But you were extraordinary. You are extraordinary. I hope wherever you are, you're happy. Nathan. Madison stared at the message for a long time. Then she typed back, I'm getting there. I hope you are too. She didn't expect a response. She got one anyway. Maybe someday. When I'm less of a disaster and you're less angry. Maybe we could try this again. The right way. Madison smiled. It was small. Sad. But real. Maybe. Someday. She deleted his number. But she kept the message. Because some stories don't end with happily ever after. Some stories end with two broken people walking away, knowing they'd found something rare but weren't ready to hold it without destroying it. Some stories end with maybe. And maybe, Madison thought as she looked out at her new city, her new life, her hard-won freedom, maybe was enough. For now. The end.